My name is Amy Carroll. I'm the Deputy Director at the Center for Popular Democracy, and we're releasing a report today called Workers Rising. It looks at some of the really exciting worker organizing that's been going on in 2012 and continues this year. You'll hear from some of the leaders of those campaigns in a couple of minutes. But the report also really thinks about what can and should New York City be doing to tackle the problems of inequality that we're still facing. What are the powers that New York City has to really address these issues? And we talk about a series of policy reforms that would really help New York move from a city whose economy has a lot of low-wage, insecure jobs and moves towards a city with employment that really supports all working families. We could pass the Earned Sick Leave Act. We could tackle the problem of insecure scheduling in retail. Go after the industries that we know have rampant violations and really tighten up enforcement and look comprehensively at these industries. So for example, in car wash, right? We know that car wash workers are being underpaid, they're facing really terrible conditions on the job. But as we've heard from car wash workers today, it's not just about their working conditions, it's about the environmental hazards that the surrounding communities face because wastewater that's full of dangerous chemicals is being dumped down the drain and not regulated adequately in the city right now. Of establishing a new Office of Labor Standards in the city, a centralized office with the expertise, the resources, the capacity to enforce some of the laws that we're looking to pass, and to be a voice for workers, educating workers about their rights, educating employers about their responsibilities. We also want employers and small businesses to have easy access to understand what they're supposed to be doing to comply with the law. So we recommend setting up a new Office of Labor Standards in the next administration. We need to take New York City, New York City workers, leaders, advocates need to go to Albany and tell Albany, give us the authority to set a minimum wage here in New York City that actually covers the incredibly high cost of living here.
I'm very tired, but I will do anything and everything that I can do to raise the standards for my fellow workers at the airport. This is very, very important to me.
Because of the rent, like my rent was already 2 months behind. It fell behind the third month again. But luckily, I got friends of the family that's trying to help, come together and help situate this. And it's difficult. Like some nights you just want to lay down and cry because you like, what's the point? I'm going to work and putting all myself in my job. To have to be miserable when I get off work, be miserable when I come home, be miserable and don't want to wake up and go to work the next day because it's like, for what? You're getting disrespected, treated very, very poorly, paid poorly, and then you're like, enough is enough. You don't even want to participate and do it anymore. But we need more people to stand up and fight for getting out of these poverty, wages, and low class living so we can better ourselves, better our children, better our future. Just better each other. Thank you.
Tengan todos buenas tardes, mi nombre es Juan Carlos Rivera. Tengo 7 años para trabajar en el cargo de la 6th Avenue Soho y lo fuimos a las elecciones, le ganamos a este señor un 90% y nunca nos dábamos cuenta que él se había vendido el cargo.
My name is Juan Carlos Rivera. And I have been working at a car wash for 7 years on 6th Avenue in Soho, and we won elections, 90% of elections, and so we also didn't realize that the owner had sold the business, and so we were looking to be transferred to another car wash, but we don't get fair wages, and when I started working there, I earned $4.50 an hour, and then $5, and then $6, and the owner would tell us that we weren't really good workers.
So how do we handle all of this? Well, this report in particular, I want to commend this idea of having a local labor office. And let me be clear, labor standards. All the other states and cities that have paid sick leave have such an office. And right now, the only way to get a complaint on many of these issues is a complaint-based complaint. Because there isn't any organization, the state doesn't have enough staff. You need somebody like an office that would be a partner with the employees and the employer to come up with safe standards so it doesn't have to be just a complaint coming from an employee. I think that's an incredibly fabulous idea.